Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to Katawa Shoujo Remastered.
It's been a hot minute since last time we played, but, we wanted to get back into the swing of things.
It's too good of a game to put down and not come back to.
Yeah, I honestly don't really remember anything about this game. I remember it's a school for, like, disabled people, and I remember I must not have liked the main character very much, because the title of my first episode was that I was a dick, and I was the main character, so that's about all I remember.
I think it's probably part of the main character's adjustment to, because if I recall correctly, this begins with him finding out about his medical disability. So I feel like it's probably the dickishness comes off as just him trying to adjust and accept his new state of being.
I did not realize this game had adult content when I asked if you wanted to play it with me again. I was like...
Did we play with that
looking through the options and I saw that. Yeah. I don't think we had it on last time.
Listen,
I would imagine we couldn't.
I'm married, you're almost married, not to each other.
We'll be by the time this comes out, probably.
I'm sure that you will be, yeah. T-minus not very much time.
Are you ready to get started?
I think I am. Should we do a 3, 2, 1 on the start button?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, go, and then on go we both.
Oh my god, I almost pressed it when you said 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I am ready. You do the countdown. And we go on go?
Yep.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Black screen.
Fallen snow. Oh, that's you.
That's me. I'm up. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. That's you.
Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m.
Ah yes, the note. Slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind.
I could have got a bit of a better audio quality for that.
Yeah, that was
crunching snow.
Oh, we don't know who this character is. I assume female, probably. Hi, Hisao? You came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly.
Guess you gotta do a dainty voice.
Oh man, it would have been good to know before the dialogue came up.
I know, right?
I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Hey, what a cutie pie.
She needs to put on some pants. It's literally snowing.
It is too cold for no pants.
Iwanako, I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours?
Damn it. I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. As shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle even if I tried. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out from my chest and claim this girl for itself. Straight out Alien.
That heart looked like a brain.
Sure did.
So, here we are, out in the cold. Your skirt's blowing in the wind. Aren't you freezing?
I think you've got frostbite setting in. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long, dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try to massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Hisao? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last things I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the incessant clatter of the branches above. It's always a good start to a series. Collapsing with a heart attack.
Listen, it just means that at the end, we can predict it was all a dream all along.
The school are being asked
out. He's been in a coma the whole time.
Oh my god, the whole series is a lie.
Yeah.
It's like one of my worst fears. You live an entire lifetime and then you wake up.
I mean, as long as you got a good life, I guess. Wouldn't be so bad. Get a chance at a do-over.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a better one.
Unless you meet people that don't actually exist and then you lose them forever. Or does it just set you on a mission to find them?
To find the people that you dreamt about?
Yeah, maybe they're real.
Maybe. I don't know.
This is such a beautiful intro.
It is nice.
I think these are glimpses of what Hisao. How did you pronounce it?
Hisao.
Hisao. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts. So I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word. A foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanaka was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited, anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they are in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So, I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why. I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. You're not supposed to eat the books. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories.
It's interesting that his disability is one that you wouldn't notice at first glance for the premise of the game, right? Like seeing a kid in a school uniform, you wouldn't know that they were disabled with a heart arrhythmia.
Yeah, which is how a lot of disabilities can be not non-visible. I mean, he wasn't technically disabled when we started. He is now, though.
Yep.
That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometime, I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while. looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely. And I couldn't even cry.
Damn, I didn't know your heart affected your tears.
Yeah, right? I guess that's disability number 2. Tear ducts non-functional. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time, sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Do you want to play both characters?
Hello, Hello, Hisao. How are you today?
I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him.
I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. You have all your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription.
The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly.
Oh, many.
I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and contraindications? Contraindications? What is this word? Side effects.
Contraindications.
Side effects, adverse effects, contraindications, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this, for the rest of my life, every day?
I'm afraid that is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years.
Years. What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all.
Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe it would be best if you don't return to your old school.
What?
Please calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. That was the dad. Whoops. I thought it was the doctor.
Calm down? The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows, it's ignored.
We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students.
Disabled? What? Am I?
It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby.
Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital nearby being a selling point.
Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. You went out there and had a look a couple of weeks back. I think you'd like it.
It looks like I don't really have a choice.
Compared to the other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education.
This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamned opportunity.
Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one.
A special school. That's an insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down.
It's not what you think. All of the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate.
I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I had always thought my life was actually kind of boring. But now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now. Something about how I can go back to school anyway. But no. I don't say anything. The fact is, I know it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That's all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something. Even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. Yeah, that's the attitude.